Hej Peter!
Hej Mary!
Hur är det med dig?
Ja, det är bra. Det är lite varmt här i Costa Rica.
Yeah.
Jag tror det är uppe i 30 grader just nu.
Yeah. We are used to speak Swedish to each other, but maybe we switch to English now.
Oh, were we speaking Swedish? I had no idea. Yes, we're in Costa Rica and it's very warm, over 30 degrees.
Yeah. So hopefully we have an audience to this video.
I hope so.
Yeah, and you asked me to speak English and I'm not native as you are. So please bear with me.
Fine.
So why are you here in Costa Rica?
Well, it's so cold in Sweden. I thought I need some sun. And then there was lots of interesting people here as well to talk to. And I'm here to practice something called touchology, which I think we'll be talking about fairly soon.
Right. I know you a bit, like 14 years now. I've known you. And you are a painter, Peter the painter.
Peter the painter.
And you do choreography.
Yes.
Yeah. And you dance a little bit yourself as well.
Yeah.
So can you continue, describe a little bit more about yourself?
Well, I was born in London. And then I moved to Sweden about 50-something years ago. And I've been living here and I got 4 children and grandchildren and things like that. It's all very nice and everybody's very happy. And I was doing something completely different for many years, which was very intensive. And when I was around about 59, I said, no more. I'm going to do what I was supposed to do from the beginning, which was to be a painter, because I went to art school and then there's no future in that. So then I studied mathematics and there was no future in that because I never practiced it. And then I did other things. So I started a new life when I was 59.
Wow. And you were starting to do what you were supposed to do.
What I was supposed to do. I'm probably been very famous by now if I carried on doing what I was doing, and very expensive paintings, but they're not very expensive now. Though.
Yeah, but now you're also very creative. You have a very creative mind. I know, and you also you invented sort of a new massage technique.
Yes. I don't know whether it's a massage technique per se. It's more a sort of a mind massage technique because it's got a lot to do with the brain. And this really started, I can't really say I've invented it, but I've it's just sort of grown during the years. About 10 years ago, I was doing a minimalistic dance when the dancer was moving very, very slowly, her fingers over her body. And she was doing this for and it was a professional dancer, and she was doing it for about 15 minutes, and then she just stopped and started crying. And I said, "You all right?" She said, "Yeah, I'm fine. It was just so intensive." So that was really the beginning. And then it went more and more, and I tried it with more people, both professional and non-professional dancers, and very similar kind of experience. So I thought this is amazing. And then I got into contact with some other friends, and then we started doing it on other people, just regular people, and they also had amazing experiences. So it's a long story, but it ended a few years ago, the development of this with me deciding I have to put a name on this sort of magic. So I decided touchology.
Touchology.
Which should be quite nice.
Can you show a little bit how you do it? It sounds very interesting.
I can do it on myself, but it's very difficult.
Yeah.
And it's about, can I just finish the story?
Yeah, sure.
Because what happened in 2019, I read an article in a Swedish newspaper about skin hunger. They were saying Swedes have about 40% of Swedes have skin hunger. I thought, what's that? And then I read on. And it was about scientists discovering or working with something called a C-tactile nerve, which is one of the nerves that we have on our skin. And this sea tactile nerve was very interesting because it's sort of newly discovered in scientific terms. I mean, it was first discovered in 1939 in rats and cats, and then in 1990s on the human face, and not until the beginning of the 21st century that it was discovered all over the body. And I read this article and I thought, wow, that's what I'm doing. They were talking about the speed of touch and how it was touched. And it's exactly what I was doing, because 2015, I had great fortune to listen to a modern composer, a minimalist composer called Max Richter. And he wrote this piece called Sleep, which is about 8.5 hours. Am I talking too much?
No, continue.
It's about 8.5 hours, and it was the longest ever live broadcast by the BBC. And what they did, they pulled all of the chairs out of a concert house and they installed beds. And then the audience came, they were presented with pajamas and they all went to bed. And he played this music for 8.5 hours. And he was really looking at the science of sleep.
Okay.
But the beat in this music is exactly the beat that you use to stimulate this nerve.
All right. But they didn't stimulate the nerve.
No. It's the beat.
Yeah.
The beat.
So they just slept to that
It's
beat.
the right speed.
All right.
So when I started using that music and also moving at that pace, the effects were sort of doubled.
Oh, so what were the effects?
Oh, lots of effects. We have some people saying that, wow, this was so relaxing. Other people said, thank you, and then they went. Mm-hmm. But then there was people that had amazing effects, like they were swimming with fishes in tropical waters. They had weights on their bodies, and they had out-of-body experiences. Right. Lots of these kinds of things, kaleidoscope. They were at the fun fair on the roller coaster.
Yeah.
And there was a guy recently, he was playing cricket in India. He was 7 years old, playing cricket with his friends. And he's never experienced that before. So it was...
So in their mind, this sort of...
Yes, it stimulates what we know about this by the science. And there's lots of science now about this. Even the latest Nobel Prize in physiology is related to this knowledge about the skin.
Okay.
So they've gone one step further. They've gone right down to the...
So can you explain a little bit more so I understand? So when you touch the skin, something happens in your mind or your brain? So.
Yes. I mean, there are two. There's a somatic nerve, which it's very highly myelinated. And that's when I put something on it burns, and that goes quickly to the insect cortex. Okay. And so we take our hand away. It's also about how we move and things like this. But then there's this other one. It's the C tactile nerve fiber, or afferent, as it's called in scientific terms. And that is very slow. And it moves, it starts firing lots of neurons, and it goes into the spine and straight up to the brain, and it goes to the rear insect cortex.
Rear.
It's a place, the rear.
Okay. Like the lizard brain, or?
No, it's part of the insect cortex, but it's the back part.
Okay.
And that's where I experience tremendous pleasure. Looking at something absolutely beautiful, almost orgasmic kind of pleasure. Wow. And that happens there. So what we found is that if somebody has a pain, I have pain in my leg, and I do it myself. It's pretty difficult to do. So, but by touching myself in that way, it neutralizes the pain.
Wow, that's fantastic.
And I read a scientific paper recently that they found that by stimulating this nerve, it does, in actual fact, have a plus-minus effect on pain, because pain is going to the brain, and this terrific pleasure is going to the brain as well. So it neutralizes it.
Oh, yeah. So it's the same place sort of in the brain. brain, or they...
Well, no, it's different places, but the brain works all over the place.
Oh.
So this is neutralizing the bad,
right,
by doing lots of good. Amazing.
Yeah. So we actually tried this as a forehand, as you call it,
Yeah.
on one of our friends, and she had the experience that she was kind of resolved. She said, I don't feel any, afterwards,
Yeah.
she said, I don't feel any boundaries
Yes.
in my body. And this is also a state that you can experience when you do Buddhist massage, meditation.
Yes.
Yeah, that you sort of resolve and you get united to everything. So even if it was the first time for me to help you out,
Yes,
with the forehand, she had that experience.
Yes, there are really amazing experiences.
Really
And
interesting.
I agree with you, the thing about deep meditation that the Buddhists use. It does relate. We even know that massage produces oxytocin and other kinds of chemicals.
Yeah. And create T cells.
Yes, and creates T cells.
Yeah.
So this is, I think it's just sort of, well, a good, healthy kind of thing to do.
Yeah. So how do you plan now to spread this? This must come out to more people, I think.
Well, for me, it's been the pleasure of doing something artistic and actually getting so close to my public that very few artists can actually do. Sort of I developed this and now it's a gift.
Yeah.
And I'd like to move it on to different kinds of therapists, people that are body workers, body and soul workers, that they can use this.
So you have already tried this out on several people?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
We have.
So you also have the practical, not sort of data, maybe you didn't collect data, but you have the practical insights as well, not only the scientific. Yeah.
No, not just scientific, because we've been practicing this for about 4 or 5 years in different configurations. There's a group I work with in Stockholm, and we've been trying it on different people and trying different variations on the theme, and it works. People are amazed. So I've had workshops, I've had internet workshops as well. Especially during Corona, and that's worked quite well.
So you also have some workshops planned now? Or?
Yes, there's one in Värmland. I don't know what that's called in English now.
No.
Varmatelje. It's in the depths of the forest of Sweden, and that's at the end of March.
Yeah, and what's the place again?
It's called Ängsbacka.
Ängsbacka. That's quite known by some people anyhow.
And initially it was only planned for 50 people because of the sea thing. So, but I think now it could be quite more people, and there'll be workshops and individual teaching. Yeah. So that'd be good.
So if I want a session, how do I do? I mean, you haven't trained any practitioners or?
Well, we've trained not practitioners, but I've been training people to do it, regular people. And I mean, a practitioner can add so much more value. Because they can combine it with their other tools. Yeah,
in the toolbox. Sort of.
In the toolbox, we're talking about even things like guided meditation and things like that, and other kind of even spiritual. But I mean also combining it with other kind of body touch methods, and there are quite a few. Yeah.
So if someone that listens to this video wants to try, can they? So what should they do? Should they contact you, or are you in some place regularly?
Yeah, I've been trying. Well, there is a website. It's touchology.se. Yeah. And there is, you can just write on the contact form, and then I'll get it. And the other people that are involved will also get the message, and then we can contact you.
Yeah. And also you're planning maybe to have some courses?
Yes, some courses. We're looking at putting together, well, we are actually, we've started developing a certification package. so that we can teach all the tricks and also talk a lot about the science. Not that you will really talk to somebody that you're applying this to all about all the science, but it's good as a practitioner to know about the science.
Yeah, yeah. And if someone asks, it's good.
Yes, it does. It also adds value.
Yeah.
I think that we're not just talking about something, but there is definitely really solid science behind what we do.
Yeah. So if you could wish, how do you want this to develop?
I would like to move it all over the world, and everybody's doing touchology, because I think there's a big need now. Because really, I know there are people in Gothenburg who have been working on the science for quite a long time. It's one of the centers of excellence, Gothenburg in Sweden, and I know they do TED Talks about this. Right. But usually they start off by talking about babies and how mothers touch their babies. Right. And of course, every mother knows that, that you can soothe.
You know that by intuition. You know don't need the science there.
You don't need anything. No. But the thing is that now we know that you can maximize the effect by doing it in a specific way.
That's so cool.
So that is cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So now we know a little bit how they can, and also below this video, we can put information about how to contact.
Yeah.
And if we also on your site,
yes,
you have a contact form that you can contact Peter. And also if you follow or look into maybe you put up some dates or something.
Yeah, as soon as the packaging is ready, they will put the dates together. And of course, this would primarily apply to Sweden, but I know there are some friends around the world, some choreography friends, dance friends, that are very interested. And they would also like to work with certification in their own countries. So I think that this year we can see a sort of a real good global rollout.
Yeah, and it's all so needed now after the pandemic.
Yes.
When we can't even touch each other.
Not allowed to touch.
No.
So now
we have the skin hunger now.
Skin hunger is there. And I mean, for me, this is my sort of, it's a gift. I would just like to pass it on to as many people as possible, because I want to get back to painting.
But maybe this is the purpose of your life.
Yeah, who knows? I don't know.
Who knows? We don't know anything about that.
Maybe.
But we hope to see more about touchology in the future and see more about you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Marie.
Yeah. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye. Touch.